Welcome back to the channel, it's 9, and today I am dropping a second video because this piece of news just couldn't wait. If you guys remember, last month we were talking about a big acquisition rumor. This rumor was heard by two people, Greg Miller and Jeff Grubb, and I'm sure there were some other people as well, but those are the two main people that were talking about it, and they said that they couldn't say for sure how valid this was. They couldn't pinpoint the sources and everything, but it was a discussion that was being had in their circles. Before we jump into this, all I ask is you hit that like button and that subscribe button. Now let's kick this off. The big acquisition we heard about last month was actually Sony buying Square Enix. So this comes from Jeff Grubb on Twitter, where he says Sony acquiring Square was the big rumor, but I cannot confirm that. And again, that's him saying he cannot confirm that, but the big rumor that was going around that everyone was so excited about, and we predicted Kojima Productions, From Software, Konami in some sense, Square Enix, Capcom, it ended up being Square Enix. At least that was what the rumor was. Now, we also added that Square Enix offloading the Western devs has actually made them more streamlined for a potential acquisition, and that this move makes an acquisition more likely now today than it was, say, yesterday. So before we jump into analyzing this, again, I want to clarify, this is a rumor and Jeff Grubb is not saying this is a confirmation of any sorts. This is just addressing that this was that big acquisition rumor that Greg Miller and he, amongst other people, were referring to. I also want to note, in my last video that I uploaded, I said I didn't believe that them selling off their Western devs meant anything more or less for Sony acquiring Square Enix. And if Jeff Grubb is correct, then it certainly did make that difference. And I just want to say that if this is the case, this is true, then I was wrong and I own that. Now, why this could be true is a big question, and it's one that can be answered in many ways. In my opinion, Sony and Square Enix have had deep roots in relationships for a long time. They have had a lot of exclusive deals in the past, and even up till today, they are still doing exclusive deals with Forspoken, with Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. Obviously, Part 1 is still technically exclusive to that on PC. Then we got Kingdom Hearts 4 possibly being another option there. We don't know yet because they haven't announced platforms. And it just shows that there are a lot of exclusive deals still going on to this day. And if you know, FF7 Remake still hasn't made it to Xbox, right? That original deal had expired. And of course, it got extended, or that's what the understanding was, with Integrate. So what does this mean, though? If Sony did go out and buy Square Enix, how does this impact Square Enix? How does this impact Sony? How does this impact gamers in general? I think all games going forward will be PC and PlayStation exclusive, or PlayStation exclusive and eventually go to PC. I think that's something that I would totally expect, especially because the Japanese teams really only release their games on PC and PlayStation and Nintendo. So I don't see why they would continue to make those games like full multi-plat. I feel like they would honor whatever deals they have, obviously including Nintendo, and then it would end up being just a PlayStation exclusives type of situation, and then also games would go to PC, especially now that it's just Japanese developers. And that's kind of the biggest thing here. Now, I would also hope this would better organize Square Enix and give the devs the support they need to put out games more efficiently. If you know, Square Enix reveals games way too early, they take too long to work on games, they take too long to send these games out. It's a big problem they have. They've had this problem for a very long time. Fans have just made a meme out of it at this point. We just say, oh, okay, we'll see this game in 10 years or 15 years or however long, because that's kind of what it feels like. Obviously, this is an exaggeration, but that's kind of what it feels like because we hear about these games so early. For example, Kingdom Hearts 4 got announced and it's in early development. Like, they should have waited a little longer for that, but I get it, you know, investors and all that. So I feel like that's one thing that we'd probably see an improvement with, especially with the dev support that they need to put out games more efficiently. And lastly, I hope that this means no NFTs. I feel like Sony wouldn't really dabble in that. I feel like Sony has no interest in that. Unless they say Square Enix is a completely separate entity, they're just owned, they are side by side with PlayStation Studios, so they don't get involved in that. But I feel like, man, we really need to make sure that NFTs don't become a thing, especially if it's tied to Sony's name. I really do hope that that happens. But ultimately, I want to still manage expectations because it's so important, right? This is only a rumor, and until we hear something from Sony, it's not a sure thing. It's never going to be a sure thing until we hear from them. But I can't deny that this does give me more belief that this is a possibility and that this is possibly more likely to happen, especially when you know the people that were hearing about this acquisition rumor. Time will tell what happens, but that's all I have for you guys in today's video. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of these comments and the big acquisition actually being Square Enix? Please let me know what you think is going to happen. Do you believe that Sony will acquire Square Enix? Do you think there's any validity to this? As always, if you have not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, and hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Links will be in the description, and share this video with a friend. I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care.